Hey guys, it's me again, Sonia, with Talking About Talking Speech Therapy, and I'm back for video number 2. And I realized that last time I didn't give you guys a lot of intro or background on me. So I am a speech language pathologist. I have been practicing for about the last 6 years as a speech language pathologist. Before that, I was a teacher for 6 years, so I've been in education for a very long time. And the aim of my videos is to educate, to help you out with ideas, because I know what it's like. I've been there. You are so bogged down with Post-its full of due dates for your annual IEPs, your evaluations, your initials, RTI. You have a lot going on in life, and I realize that sometimes it's hard to take a minute and step back and come up with fun therapy, and I'm here to help you out with that. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This video is going to be about AAC, because in case you are not a fan of my Facebook page, I have been advertising, and it's kind of all over the place right now, that it is AAC awareness for the month of October. So super exciting stuff. There's a ton of deals out there and lots of good information. So I wanted to do a fall fun segment on AAC and how we could use that. So the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to show you guys my boards that I have here. So I have 3 different low-tech AAC boards that I'm going to be utilizing in the session. So the first board is from Project Core. It's a fantastic website, and this is downloadable for free. You can download that for free, and there's different versions of it depending on what you like, symbol sticks, just different options. And I'll have links for these in the comment section below too. The second one is from Saltillo's web page, and it's just the touchchat basic 60 is the one that I think that I went with. So there's that board. And then the third board that I have is from Language Lab, and I want to say this one was from the LAMP system, and it's the prepositions page specifically. The reason for that is because this whole lesson was inspired by a request. I was super excited. After my video last week, I did have a request, and the request was for prepositions, specifically from PRC's 100 frequently used core words, and they were having trouble finding worksheets or activities for the prepositions for and with, and I want to say also off. And I looked, and it's really hard. I couldn't find anything out there. And so I thought, let's go ahead and fix that. So let's go ahead and get started. So my first 2 activities are going to be with the use of manipulatives, and then I have a couple of activities that you could also use with some of the worksheets that I've created on my Teachers Pay Teachers store. So the first one is going to be with the pumpkins. These may look familiar. These are the pumpkins that my kids picked out at the pumpkin patch last weekend. So I'm going to go for an easy one. To begin with, we are going to, and I'm going to get my touchchat board, go ahead, and we are going to model, because it is so important to model when we're doing these lessons with our students. When they are learning their AAC devices, it is like they are learning a brand new language. So if you don't have someone modeling, if you don't have someone showing you how to do it, you're not going to learn that language. You're not going to pick it up. They need to see us using it and speaking to them with their device. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our core board here. And so for the pumpkin, we could say the pumpkin is in the box, or we could also say, I want the pumpkin out of the box. Go ahead and take it out. And now we could say the pumpkin is out of the box. So those are your easy ones. The ins and the outs are pretty easy, and I'm sure you guys have tons of things that you've done with that. Let's go ahead and do with. So I'm going to put my pumpkin back up here. I'm going to use the big guy. I'm going to keep my board And you would be modeling on the board if you had to, or if you could model on the student's device, that would be helpful. Or if you're even super lucky and you have your own device, then you would be modeling with that as well while you're doing your lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and get my little, I don't even know what these things are called, wind-up toy. I got it, I think, at Walmart on sale in the dollar section. I'm going to go ahead and get my wind-up toy. I'm going to go ahead and wind him up. And this one is not preposition related, but don't waste an opportunity to model. And I'm going to say, look at him go. Uh-oh. So I'm going to put him next to the pumpkin because that's where he was supposed to go. That's where he was supposed to go. All right, so now he is with my pumpkin. He is with my pumpkin. So then we could go ahead and we could get out another pumpkin, and we could get out another wind-up toy. And we could, again, don't waste an opportunity, look at him go. And this guy went where he was supposed to. Look, he is with my pumpkin. So that would be another example where you're modeling that prepositional phrase with, and that's just with manipulatives that you have in the classroom. You could use whatever you guys have available. This is just kind of what I had laying around the house. It's gonna try and walk away on me. So those are the pumpkins. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the worksheets. So this first worksheet is a freebie that I have on my Teachers Pay Teachers store, so go ahead and check it out, download it. It is a freebie, and it is a worksheet on categories for, it's fall themed. There's a category for making a pumpkin pie, a category for carving a pumpkin, making caramel apples, and making a turkey. So if we look at this first column right here, it's making a pumpkin pie. What it's asking you to do, and we're going to focus in on that first column, is go ahead and look at the items in the column and find out what does belong in that category and what does not belong in that category. And the directions say for you to circle the items that do belong and cross off the ones that don't. But we're not going to use it like that. We're going to use it a little differently. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our core low-tech AAC board, and then we're also going to utilize some fringe vocabulary. So our core words are going to be our words that are used in a ton of different contexts to help students relay meaning in several different ways. So for today, our core words that we're focusing on are our prepositional phrases. There is the other core words, am, to, give, listen, drink, go, want. Those are all core words. And then we have our fringe words, and those are words that are not as commonly used. And so, of course, we're not going to have those on their AAC device front and center. For example, baster. Probably not something that's going to be used in everyday life. So if you have an activity that is specific, then make sure that you do have some kind of visuals for the students so that they can access them for that fringe word component of what you're working on. So for this first part, if we look at this, the first item in that column for making a pumpkin pie is a candle, and a candle does not go in a pumpkin pie. So what we would say is a candle doesn't go with a pumpkin pie. This is a little tricky for me because I'm trying to hold this up for the video. Should be a little bit easier for you if you are on the table and you also have these fringe vocabulary words cut out so that you can have the specific ones that you want for that activity. I didn't cut mine out because I knew I was going to be holding things up in the air. So then the second item in the column is ginger, and ginger does go in a pumpkin pie. So we would expect the student to say that ginger does go with a pumpkin pie, and that would be modeling that right there. That is a lot. I modeled several different words. What was that? Ginger does go with pumpkin pie. 5 words in that situation. Maybe your student's not there yet, and that's okay. You're going to have to level your lesson to where your student is at. So if I want to make it a little bit easier, the next item on my list is a stick that you put in a caramel apple. Doesn't go in a pumpkin pie. So in that situation, we would just say, don't go with pumpkin pie. And it's okay to say extra words and only model the two if that's where your student's at. So that would be that. And then the next picture is an oven. In that situation, we would say, does go with a pumpkin pie. That's one activity you could do. Another activity that you could do that I have is, I like this one. I have different sorting mats. There's a pumpkin pie. There's the pumpkin if you're doing carving a pumpkin. And then you have the different cards that are your fringe vocabulary. And it's going to be really similar to what we just did before, but the students are going to be able to manipulate them and put them onto the sorting mat where they belong. So again, very similar. So if we were doing the pumpkin pie, and get out that handy pumpkin pie, and our first item was cream. Cream doesn't go in the pie. So we would say cream doesn't go with our pie would be one, or our simpler one, doesn't go with the pie. So that's that simpler modeling. And then your third option is the prepositional phrases activity that I made, because like I said, there's not a lot out there for with and to, and I think I said out was the other one that I had trouble finding. But I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure I did find stuff out there for out, but with and to for sure, it's super difficult to find. So with that one, it's similar to that. There's a sorting mat for to and with and all of the prepositional phrases that I did. And then we have our fringe vocabulary or our sorting cards right here. And there's 5 in each column for each prepositional word. So there's 50 images, 5 per prepositional word. And you can cut these out and then you can have the students sort them to the sorting mats. I wouldn't recommend more than 1 or 2 because this is to teach them those concepts. The concept of to, the concept of with. So our concept of with is very abstract, and that's what's tricky when we get into that core vocabulary and we have those words and they're more abstract. So we have to teach it to them in multiple different contexts across a variety of settings so that they understand that concept. Abstract, hard to do, so that's why there's 5 different models in here, and we're not just going to stop here at this activity. We're going to do hands-on stuff. We're going to go take a walk around the campus. That was always one of my favorite things to do, was just take a classroom, just a school-wide field trip, and we would take our device and we could practice go, we could practice stop, we could practice turn. If the student was going to go ahead and navigate where they wanted to go, then we would just do that based off of what they were selecting on their AAC device. We could say, I want to go with you to the office. Could be something that we could do. You have to have that fringe vocabulary on there. School items are probably in their device already, so you're probably not going to have extra visuals for that. Check it out, make sure. If not, just print up some quick visuals. It's not going to be too tricky. Again, on that school field trip that you're going on with the student, I want to go with you to the library. Just pick a place, go around the campus, and we're practicing that prepositional phrase with and all of that while we walk around. They love it because they get to get out of class, and you love it because you are not sitting in a chair, and you also get to get out of class and stretch your legs. And so it's a good experience for both of us. I think that's everything that I have for you guys today. It's a little bit of a longer video because I had a lot more materials to present to you. If you have any questions, any comments, any requests, please, please, please let me know about them. You can either find me on Facebook. I am under Talking About Talking Speech Therapy, or you can like me on Teachers Pay Teachers and you could send me a message there as well. I would love to hear from you guys. Okay, thanks for coming.